Hey traders, my morning video. I'm going to start with the Qs because this is the growth engine of the market. The delta, the area where people to go to speculate for higher prices and growth aspects for their portfolios. And basically what we've got going on here, I had on this pullback right here, these fib fans, which everybody watched my yesterday video and the past couple day videos. I was using this as my bull bear divide. See this line right here? And basically this is the midpoint fib fan on the secondary, okay, on the breakdown. So basically I was looking for, this is what the actual scenario we got was what I expected yesterday, was a pipe bottom. And this is what I was wanting to see if buyers were actually going to step up here. I wanted to see us open at or above the close. Well, now since we are completely rejecting that close and now trading below that midline, we're still in okay territory because we're inside this pipe. This is technically a very supportive bottoming process for the markets. Seeing a pipe bottom, that's whenever you have two long candles side by side doing a reversal pattern. But if we break this candle, this is very severe for the markets, extremely severe for the markets. So just keep that in mind going forward here. This pipe has to hold for these markets. And so far today, we keep leading to the downside. So just keep that in mind going forward here. Now, I have volume profile tools, which I haven't been talking about for a few days. Basically, I have this line in the sand right here, right? Well, if you've noticed in the pre-market volumes, the volumes the past couple of days have been really light because we've been opening in this range. This is a lower volume area for trading for traders. Okay, and that's why the pre-market volumes, in my opinion, have been relatively low on individual stocks. Now, the SPY has been pretty active, but that's why I think there's been less participation by shareholders, because we are in a low volume node for trading. Okay, now if we take volume profile theory, we tend to migrate and hold near the prior volume point of controls. So on the downside, near the lows of this pipe is a responsive buy sell point. Okay, where now what's acting as near the upside of this pipe, it's acting as a responsive sell point. So basically, we're trapped between buyers here, sellers there. That's the pattern we've got going on right now. What I've done on my charting, and let's see here, can I zoom it? Oh, I have to change my chart pattern. Daily 20 years. I actually went out, found the next significant sell-off, and I've added additional layer bands for next support and resistance zones. And by doing that, I've done that on all my indice charts now, because what I'm seeing here is more increasing pressure down to the lower end of this range right here. Right now, buyers still are coming in down here and accumulating at this price point. But if at some point the buyers decide to give up on this price point, this here down through here is actually on the next. The problem is with buying down here, we've broken all three, both of these fib fans. Okay, so this is a bearish area. If you're accumulating down here and you've broken the fans, it's not supportive of the markets. In my opinion, what's going on here, the markets are wanting to come down to the 75-30 area, in my opinion. And we're going to get the first test will be the 75-30 area. But like I've said in the past, I prefer the midline as the significant support area for the markets. And if that is the case, we're going to build out value right here and then get a responsive capitulation sell-off down to this area. This is kind of my theory. The capitulation area would be the 72.30 area for the ultimate trend in this market. So these are targets I would like to mention. One second here. Okay, similar situations here. Trying to find the primary support and resistance zones. I've went out on a much longer time frame. This here, the trends are a little bit different for the ES futures versus the Qs. Okay, but basically what I'm seeing right here, let's see if I can get this to zoom in properly. There we go. This works pretty good. This actually seems to be much more supportive at a closer point. Okay, so this is something that I'm looking at. So that top fib fan, the green one, that's what the primary target I'm looking for on the Qs at this point. And my target now is the 2660 area, 2650 area. That's where I'm thinking price is trying to migrate to. And if you compare that, where's the auto zoom at? So whenever you look at that price point, we have a volume point of control right here, which I forgot to put my line in, of course. Okay, this is a monthly value point of control. So basically the 2633 area, this looks like where the markets are ultimately trying to go, probably to finish the week. So just keep this in mind going forward here, 2633 area. This is where price seems to be migrating in this market. So that's why, especially after today's, I was still trying to say they were trying to carve out a bottom. This would be a significant bottom. But now after seeing in the open, I am not nearly quite as bullish going forward here at that price point, thinking that they are going to come down here to the 2633 area here real soon. Okay, and then I went on the IWM. The ready isn't giving us information far enough back in time. The green ones, like I said, I went further out in time now, back to 2016 levels on this because the Russell is so broken. And we are building out value down here, which we may or may not collapse. But we have this responsive sell, prior sell signal, and that puts us back into this top line too. So just keep that in mind going forward here. We do have a lower low situation. If we were to have a channel with lower lows, that would put us right down into this yellow. So keep that in mind going forward. We're probably eyeballing the the 26 or the 120 area for the IWM to finish the pattern. So if you lower low channel, the 120 area does seem like a potential target here for that. Okay, a good sign here. We still have some relative weakness in our bonds, suggesting we might be getting some rotation out of this bond market. We had a really nice sell-off yesterday in the bonds. So this is one to keep in mind going forward here on our bonds. We do have a really nice sell-off in the futures markets, but it's on low volume. Like I had mentioned, we are in that low volume node, and we are inside that pipe on the Qs. So just keep this in mind. The bonds not really catching, and not even significant volumes anywhere. Not even on the bonds. Only 824 at almost 9 o'clock in the morning. So very relatively muted volumes on this sell-off. So just keep that in mind going forward. I did want to point that out since we did break that pipe top for the morning session. Something to worry about. We had a responsive short squeeze in the crude yesterday, which seems to be giving it back today. So this is something to keep on watch going forward here. It's in a bearish trend, and it doesn't seem to be supportive at all. With the narrative actually seems to be getting worse with the whole thing yesterday on the crude. But they were supporting it with that short squeeze, and now they're seem to be bleeding it off, but it's still holding out well. We're not back to yesterday's opening lows, so that is something you can hang your hat on. So, but right now we are right here at that swing low, suggesting that we're going to be breaking down and retesting the second level later on in today's session. Well, we do have some froth coming out of the markets this morning, but the good thing is, so far this morning, we're not breaking to new lows in the banks. They are meeting with Trump today. We are overlapping value versus the day before. We had that real nice pop in the markets, but the banks really didn't get much benefit out of it, and just seems like we're right at yesterday's value for Bank of America. It's the highest volume of any major so far, and you don't see Bank of America being a high volume, and only half a million, less than half a million contracts. So that tells you just how muted this volume is this morning. So something to keep in mind. Price does seem to be migrating lower on light volume, potentially back to the lows, this week's lows. So keep that in mind. Same thing, overlapping volume on Apple seems to be migrating lower this morning. So something to keep in mind. And other than that, on my pre-market scanner here, look how anemic these volumes are on the pre-market scanner here. AMD is showing up on my other scans. Uh, Basically it was the volume leader this morning. Wait 1 second. Let me let this thing load. Okay, this is a little bit of a warning sign this morning. The highest volume that I'm seeing here on these stocks is AMD, and we're already breaking at below value area. That's 80% of the value for yesterday's inventory. We're breaking down below the lows, or right at the lows of the 80% of yesterday's volume. So something to keep that on watch here, that we are pushing away from the overlapping volume point of control so far this morning. That's a little bit more bearish take for the open. And then we have Apple. Apple right here at the open. At least they've been using this Apple to support the markets. So it is holding out a little bit relatively better than AMD, of course. We're at yesterday's uh, highest point to do business for Apple. So keep that in mind going forward here in your trading. We are above that 50%. This is the 50% fib line, and they've been holding this on my fib fans. And we are up above away from that. So I'm kind of thinking if the markets are on a sell, that Apple's going to be coming back down and testing that today. So do keep that on watch as a potential to for the markets if they continue to show this sell signal. They do seem to be very weak this morning, so I'm a little concerned about what's going on here on that one. Microsoft, and we are getting a significant lag in TOS this morning. I'm going to reboot again, and hopefully it's not my PC. But while I'm having trouble loading these charts and stuff, so be careful. It looks like Thinkorswim's going to have platform issues in the open this morning, so something to keep in mind. I'm going to check and see if I've got scans running in the background and see if I can clear up some of my system, because something's not right here. I'm going to have to do something here to get things to move better, because I'm getting a little concerned here of the operating system. Basically, the 50% fib fan, we're holding out a little bit better. The 149.10 area, that's the support area in my opinion. And if we are on a sell order here, I'm a little concerned the distance between the 149 and 155. They are using Microsoft as well to help support the markets. So that's another one to keep on your watch going forward. Going forward here. And then we have, of course, AAL. That's a bearish chart. I'm not even going to trade it. You can only do it to the short side, in my opinion. It's a bearish trend. We're back inside that downward channel. So basically, all this end of day froth, they popped it up here away from the volume. They're bringing it right back crashing in. So the 1550 area is probably target for American Airlines. Tesla. Bringing it in again today. It's just slightly just hanging out down here. This is not one. To me, Tesla's a broken pattern, and it's just taken. If the market's having another leg lower, Tesla's going to be going sub 600 fairly quickly. So just keep that one on your watch. They are out looking for another location for their truck factory, so keep that in mind. So that does put them in the news for today. Gilead has a bid, had a sale yesterday, has a bid today, or so take that for what it is. And I don't think there's any headlines to speak of, but they do have a little bit of responsive bid in it right here. But the way markets are acting right now, I would be more of a fader of this move than to try to support price here back down. This is actually where the value is if the markets are on a sell signal. So that's even one that I'd be careful about going into today's session. And then we had Microns, same thing with semiconductors. It's on the list. Still inside of value, so it's not trending yet. We got Baidu, Chinese internet. Let's see if it's breaking. Yeah, this is pretty much in the middle of chop. Nothing really trending here. Facebook, which I think is a broken chart pattern, giving up quite a bit of yesterday's. They all the froth right back into value today. At least it's not breaking down out of value. So we're just having a little bit of responsive profit taking from everything I'm seeing here. We're just coming back into yesterday's values across the board, and just taking all the extra profits out of the equation, because we had that short squeeze and then we had that end of day momentum. They're just taking all the extra inventory, the extra upside, just taking it back into a reassess direction. So everything I'm seeing here, that's what I'm seeing on all my charts here. So just keep that in mind going forward in your trading. And that gives you an idea of all my charts. And sorry, I'm a little bit longer than normal here. And let me see if there's anything else I want to bring up today. Oh, the upgrades and stuff. There was nothing of any significance that I noticed so far this morning. Let me double check that. Okay, on the ratings front, Apple, they had somebody come out lowering their target to 320. That's actually reiterating a buy on it. So that's actually a upgrade, in my opinion, for Apple. So that's always something. We're actually getting ratings agencies to coming out and putting some ratings on some of these bigger name stocks. And that is the first thing you want to see for any type of potential bottoming in here. Hold 122 on Baidu. So we got they went from a buy rating to a hold rating on Baidu. That's more of a bearish. And on the best rate upgrade that I'm seeing this morning, that's Regeneron, 525 on Regeneron. So far this morning, it's all over the place, but this is one that could outperform today in this market, especially with all the stimulus that's being introduced into the healthcare system, and then Visa. And you always want to keep an eye on your Visa. It is a major financial player. We do have an upgrade to 225. So that is a significant upside potential here for Visa if it wants to catch a bid. So, you can look and see how much it's come down here. So 225, that's something. Look at that. That's above the all-time highs is the upgrade on Visa. So something to keep in mind. That's a major, in my opinion, a major upgrade for Visa. So something to keep on watch going forward here. This is a market making. This is one of the major players that move the markets. So something to keep on watch going forward here. I'm actually leaning more to the bullish side based off the ratings I'm seeing. And so just keep that on watch for the open today, that we're probably going to chop around, a little bit more to the upside than the down, maybe initially to the downside, but I'm still leaning more to the upside than the downside this morning. So so far the markets are not telling me that though. So we'll see what happens here on the open. Okay, that's everything in my video. Like it if you like it, and please make some comments if you're seeing stuff that I'm not seeing. I really appreciate your feedback. Okay, Thanks a lot. Now, the big problem child, remember, Apple and Microsoft, the support areas are lower. Apple had an upgrade. So we have a situation here, our buyer's going to step up here and support prices. I would think because of the upgrade, if we do get a sell-off, that this is a more of a responsive buy zone for Apple than a typical day. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not looking to buy the open, but I'm looking to buy supports down here if Apple were to fall on the open. Okay. Okay. That's everything.